everyone, and welcome to the SeeWDW Near and Far podcast Parks and Socials edition for the week of 8/16/23. Today we will be talking to John about how his week in the parks went and how his social media is performing. And with that, John, how did your week in the parks go?
Well, I made it to the parks twice, and there is a little bit of a story behind each of them. And I just want to apologize if I go mute. I feel like I've had some kind of cold the past few days. Like I feel better now, but man, I've been getting into some sneezing and coughing and all kinds of stuff. So who knows what that could be? But I don't get tested for anything, so I don't know. But anyway, where I probably caught whatever it is that I had is at the Magic Kingdom on Sunday.
So, do you have people coughing on you, or?
Oh, I wouldn't even notice. Actually, it was Thursday, and let me give you a little background. The Haunted Mansion was reopening on Thursday, August 10th. And I looked at my calendar and I'm like, I don't have anything going on Thursday, August 10th. And then turned out my wife was working, and I said, you care if I go to Magic Kingdom without you? Because I heard the Hatbox Ghost will be there when it reopens. And I'm like, that'd be cool. You know, I personally would like to see it. I've been hearing about it basically since I've been into Disney. And I thought it would be cool to be one of the first people to see it on social media and in person. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. So on Thursday morning at 7 o'clock, I got a Tron virtual queue, and then I bought Lightning Lane or Disney Plus for $25. And I hate to do it, but if it's the first day, I need to get that because it could be hours and hours to wait. You know, like people really line up for that thing. Well, by about 8:30, it changed my Lightning Lane for Haunted Mansion. That's the first one I got, just in case, you know, like because that's really the only one I won. And by 8:30, it changed it to a multi-pass because Haunted Mansion was closed. And I was like, well, that's weird. And then I thought to myself, well, how do I cancel Genie Plus from home? And it's like, there was no good answers. I think you're supposed to go to guest services. And I ended up just saying, all right, I'm going to go. And hopefully by the time I get there, it will, you know, work itself out. So I did that. They parked me near the Polynesian entrance. So I went that way. You can see the beautiful tenement buildings they got going on. I wonder, is this Disney's low-income housing they're talking about putting up?
Could be.
Because that's quite a view. It looks like low-income housing, but that view, man, that's $1 million view.
I told you, it looks like North Korean hotels or something.
So I went to, and I do this a lot, so I went to the Polynesian and took the boat over to the Magic Kingdom. Oh, the other thing is, before I left, like I got my Tron virtual queue and I waited a few minutes. I like counted to like 3 to do it because I wanted it to be as late as possible because they actually hold you to the time. So I got group 99 and I was like, oh, that's good. By the time I got there, I didn't get any notifications. I drove to the park. And I was walking through the parking lot and I opened up my app and it said, it's expired, too late. And I was like, oh, there you go. I'm not sure when it called me, but it was just not possible for me to go. Another reason I'm not a big fan of Tron. It's like, I talked to some other people too. Like you had said, if you're going back to swim, if you're park hopping, you can't commit to being at the park like 10 hours from the time you do it. You know, it's like, that's just not a fun thing. And again, with Guardians, they let you do it anytime. I really don't like that they are strict with Tron, and they could change it to at nighttime. You have to have it like once it gets dark, but I wasn't. Like they need to adjust that a little bit. Like once it's dark, strict time. Before that, we're a little loose. It's fine. That would make more sense. But anyway, it was 98 degrees, and Amazon is out already. It was 98 degrees, and I looked at all the pumpkin decorations as sweat was dripping down my face.
Not very autumn-like weather, huh?
It was quite nice. Yeah, the heat was just so intense. So again, just soaked in sweat looking at pumpkins.
It's a beautiful picture, though.
They look nice and all. But I can tell you, I did not get a ticket for the Halloween party this year. It's expensive. It's mostly the same as last year, or close enough. I just don't. It might sound bad, but all the people who do influencers and this and that media, they all get free tickets to go. I don't. I have to pay for mine, so it's got to have some kind of value for me. So I opted not to go. My Halloween budget is focused at Universal, where it's all new. So it might not be nice, but that's the way that I got to go.
By the way, let me just say, John, my budget for theme parks for Halloween is also directed towards Universal. And in fact, I have a reservation booked now. I am going, and everything is proceeding as planned. So late September, I will be there.
Yeah, what a coincidence. And I do think Disney looks really nice around Halloween, but
Yeah.
I went to the Halloween party last year. My wife and I both found it severely overcrowded, very hot. We could barely do just the minimum amount, and we were like, this is just not fun. Then we went to the Christmas party, and I don't know if they adjusted capacity or what, but we really enjoyed that. It felt much lighter crowds, and just it was cooler, much more enjoyable. So we enjoyed Christmas. We did not enjoy Halloween last year. So
I remember I went with my wife as well to both events last year, to the Disney event as well, and I really enjoyed the Mickey's Not So Scary, and it wasn't all that heavy as far as crowds. But I mean, I get the thing. Like, if you ask me which I prefer, definitely Halloween Horror Nights is unbeatable, and they don't even compete. So it's totally different events. But I would agree with you. I would not go this year. You know what I mean? Because I went last year, and it's no different, right? So
yeah, and again, I do enjoy the party and the Halloween party and stuff, but I'm not. There's a lot of it I don't care about. Like, the Hocus Pocus thing. I don't like that movie. I don't get it. The stage
for me
shows
too.
do nothing for me. And again, I hate the Space Mountain overlay where they would just turn out all the lights. I like hurt my neck on that, and I was like, this is bad. And in contrast, I loved the Christmas one where they would strobe so I could actually see the track. It was strobing, but I did want to point out I did not go to the Halloween party, but I made a Halloween party post because I saw all my popular social media friends at the first thing. So I was like, well, I'm going to make one too. I'll just use last year's footage, and I'll make sure right there you can see the 50 if you look close, but nobody really noticed it. I'm up over 5,000 likes. It did better than most of the people that I've seen that posted stuff from this year's that ran right out to be the first to get it. It's like, I don't know. I just did one on the pumpkin people up front from last year. And that kind of gave me a reassurance that I don't need to go again for content. People don't care that much, So yeah. I thought that was cool. 5,034 likes on a reel that people assume is from this year, I guess. I mean, I didn't say one way or the other, so what are you going to do? But I thought that was a little fun fact that
Mm-hmm.
I have to pay for my tickets, and Instagram is paying me almost nothing for my Disney account. So, I mean, I might make like $40 or something if I'm lucky some months. But so I'm like, no thanks. It's just not a thing. But anyway, I got there around, what time did I get there? Around 5:30. The haunted mansion was still closed. I kept checking, off and on. I went to ride Space Mountain because I had a lightning lane for that. And as I got close, you can see here's a line for it. And now this line, it goes way back from here. It goes all the way back, like around that corner. But I cannot tell what this line is for. And so I started walking around it. Sorry about that. I started walking around it, and I'm glad I did because this is not the lightning lane. This is standby. Sorry, and but there were no cast members out to tell you what line that was. So if I was looking for standby, I would have walked all the way up, then had to go all the way back, and meanwhile the line would have grew behind me, and I just found that disappointing.
Yeah, usually they mark them really well, which line it is.
Yeah, sorry, my unknown illness is bothering me. But yeah, so it turns out I went in, and it wasn't too bad. Although I got to a certain point, and we had one of those cast members that was doing the 95% standby to a couple lightning lane, which normally I love those people, but I never seem to see them when I'm in the other lane. But anyway, it took 18 minutes, but it would have took me a lot longer. I never noticed it, but as you're approaching the ride, there's a sign that says single riders alert the cast member or whatever. So as I scanned, I asked the cast member, I said, I'm a single rider. The sign said to let you know. And they said, yes, right this way. So they opened up the back corridor instead of me waiting in the line. And I went behind the line, the remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So here you can see I'm looking back and forth. I went behind it. And it takes you right over to the side, and then they look for a spot for single rider.
Yep, I've done that before. Actually, I've done that a couple times. It's that's kind of cool, a different perspective than what you usually get.
Yeah, over here is where you end up kind of looking. And again, I think it saves you a couple minutes because I didn't have to wait in the last little bit of turnstile back and forth. So, I mean, that's a really fast one anyway. But but I thought that was interesting because I never saw that. I wish they had a single rider line that would filter you up to that because I would
Yeah.
ride that a lot more because I really do enjoy Space
They
Mountain.
they only I think they only do the single rider for like certain times. They don't always do it. So that's probably part of that. Again, they use that sometimes too for switchbacks, like if somebody, their family goes on board and they can't go with them because they're staying out for a kid or something. So
Yeah. So from Space Mountain, um, oh, and I think it was like a 90-minute wait was posted, and it took me 18 minutes, just in case anybody's wondering. From there, I had a lightning lane for Peter Pan. I saw Winnie the Pooh and Tigger run by, and I think this happens a lot, but I didn't get it on video, and I wouldn't have posted it anyway. But Pooh fell down, I guess, at some point, and it's terrible though because I see these kids are there, and the parents literally let them run up full speed. Like a second after I recorded this, a girl who looked to be about 10 to 11, like she was fairly older, ran over and went boom and gripped right on and almost knocked them over again. And I'm like, wow, these kids just run right at them. It's like, you can't see in that costume. Like, imagine he can see tunnel vision, or she out these little teeny, like it's not good vision. So again, I wouldn't have posted it even if I saw it, because I don't find people falling, especially when it's not their fault, to be funny. But I know some people do. My wife thinks it's funny when people fall. I just don't. I'm like, I'm more concerned. But anyway, this is the lightning lane for Peter Pan.
Oh, wow.
So everybody was in line around me, and I heard people questioning, this is lightning lane? What is this? Why am I waiting out in the sun and the people would stand by are in the shaded queue and this and that? And I told the guy behind me a story about lightning lane on Haunted Mansion, where it started pouring and the people in the standby were under the awnings and they were checking lightning lanes right at the edge of the awning. So everyone had to stand in the rain until they were checked to make sure they had lightning lane. And I was like, man, that was messed up. And I told them about that too. I said they do that a lot with this kind of thing because it wasn't designed for lightning lane. And a lot of times they inadvertently treat lightning lane people bad, without, I'm sure they don't mean to do it. But
Oh, I'm sure.
so anyway, I had a good conversation with that person who's a vacationer with his family that comes every few years. And, he's not a big fan of the new setup because even he was saying that, his kids want to go back to the resort. And with all this lightning lane stuff, he's like, well, we have it scheduled. Can't go back. And he said he really doesn't like it. So I don't know if that means anything, but
I think it does.
I'm
That's
sure.
why they continue to constantly adjust the dang thing, right?
Well, my wife cuts the hair of somebody who does lightning lane, who actually works for Disney and actually does lightning lane. And yeah, they had said, get ready because we're going to fix it and everyone's going to be happy and stuff. This is a while ago. Yeah, he had higher.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, I did Peter Pan just because you can't do Peter Pan without a lightning lane, and don't really care about it that much. Like if they said they're tearing this ride down, this is one that I would be like, oh, that's a shame. Glad I got it on tape.
I like it because it's classic, and that's part of the. I mean, that's why I like it, and it's a classic story. So I actually love it. I think especially the queue, and it's a shame that the lightning lane you don't get to see any of that queue.
That queue is great. You're right. Yeah, the queue has so much going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see that queue anymore either. When the parks were reopening, I saw it all the time. It was great. So I did that, and then I walked past the Haunted Mansion. I didn't record it, but I walked past the Haunted Mansion, and there was a bunch of people sitting out front, and then there was a bunch of cast members. So I politely asked the cast member, I said, do you think it's going to open tonight? And she said, that's what they're telling us. They keep telling us they're going to get it working. And I was like, oh, good. So they're working on it. I thought to myself, good, there's a chance. And so I went to my next lightning lane, which was the Jungle Cruise. Sorry for all the pauses. And the weird thing about the Jungle Cruise was it was not that crowded, which is really weird.
Wow.
Like, I can't quite read that, but it was not crowded. That whole queue area was not filled up. And I thought to myself, are people starting to not like it? Because this is always a difficult one to get on. And I have no idea, but Lightning Lane wasn't that bad. And the standby was not bad either. But there's one thing that happened to me on this, and I wish I recorded it, but I was doing sporadic recordings. And you know how the elephant comes out of the water and he goes on, and the skipper says, "Oh no, it's going to squirt us," and then it doesn't. It did this time. It squirted him, hit the boat. It went right at me. It soaked my back and sprayed everyone with high power water, like right in the face and back. And I have never in my life seen that. And I thought to myself, I was recording. If I would have had my camera pointed at that as it just squirts me, I would have had the best darn video ever. I would have been so happy. I would have said that is a 1 in a million shot, but my camera was not on and pointing in the proper direction. So I just got sprayed across. And it's funny because I saw it hit the skipper first. It hit the controls of it. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. Then it lifted up and squirted right in our thing. And I was just flabbergasted that it happened.
I've never even heard of that. Yeah, I've never even heard of that happening ever.
Me neither. And again, man, if I had that, it was in this part just past the elephant's bathing part. Oh yeah, can't see that, but let's see. But yeah, it's where they make the joke about it's snot and stuff like that, and it's just past these, one of the ones that come up to pretend they're going to spray the boat, and then they never do.
Yeah,
it did. So I was quite surprised about that one. So anyway, I got off the Jungle Cruise soaking wet, and I heard I checked my app and it said 20-minute wait for Haunted Mansion. So I literally ran over. I'm like, yes, finally, I am somewhere by sheer luck ahead of everybody else. Like normally I'm 42nd guy to have the what's new, because I'm not there. But so I got there. Check out this line as it grew. That looks like the crowd. That's not a crowd. That's a line.
Oh my goodness.
You can kind of see it. It just goes off as far as you can see down the thing. I got there pretty early though, and here's my thing. It said it was a 20-minute wait. I had my lightning lane yet that I could have used for it, but I thought to myself, with a new effect, I really want to get this. I want 2 chances, so I'm already here. I'm going to go in. I'll ride it again. That way, if it's glitching or something, I'll get 2 shots to get my Hatbox Ghost. So I went in. It turned out it took about 23 minutes. I went in and rode it, and there's no Hatbox Ghost. The curtain was still there. And I was so excited. And again, I don't need to be first or anything, but I really thought my dumb luck paid off. I was like, I can't believe that, I'm going to be the first one to have this. Sheer dumb luck. This is the part here where it's going to be. And you can see right to the left here is going to be, that's black curtain. That's where he's supposed to be. So he's not there yet. And I thought to I text my wife and I'm like, they got me again. I should never believe these people. They closed it down to Adam, and I thought, well, maybe they're going to wait and only show the Halloween party people that are paying, I still haven't seen anything of it. So
no, it's not been revealed yet.
I was going to say, I did not even realize it, but apparently Madame Leota was updated too. And I thought to myself, like when I went by her, I was thinking, wow, she's very bright, like I could see her so well. And I just figured it was the lighting or something. But then I saw articles saying it's a new Madame Leota effect. So, of course, I went and posted it then. I was the first to have this, and I didn't even know it. See how her hair is big like that? I could have sworn
Yeah.
that's what it used to look like in back in Disneyland or something. I don't know. But I even zoomed in on it a little bit, like because I was like, wow, look how clear she is compared to normal, you know? And again, that is a new effect. And I was too dumb to know it until a media outlet said brand new Leota effect. And I was like, brand new. I have that, you know. I just didn't know to put it out. So these guys look pretty clear too. But again, I don't know if they did anything to it. Maybe they just clean up all the projections and stuff. I don't know. But I thought that was cool. And I do have a video somewhere in here I'll show you later that shows both the Leotas, but I'll show you that when we get to it. And this, I don't. But anyway, from there, I went to uh, Big Thunder Mountain. I think this is when I left. I was just walking by. All these poor people think that the Haunted Mansion has a brand new effects. I really wanted to tell them it's the same thing. Don't waste your time. But whenever I try to help people, they look at me like they don't know what I'm talking about. Am I trying to scam them? Like they just have a general weird distrust when I try to help people. And so I was like, there's nothing I can do. And again, I don't know why. Maybe because people are so unhelpful nowadays that if someone tries to just give you a helpful tip, that you would be immediately suspicious as to what do they want, you know. But I don't know. But anyway, Haunted Mansion was a bust. And remember, I paid for Lightning Lane, planned my whole night, drove down there just for this. Is the only it's the only reason I even came over. But then next I went to Big Thunder Mountain, and again the Lightning Lane was outside the lane, hard to get in. Like as I got in the Lightning Lane, other people were lining up to the side, and then they seemed angry that we were already, you know what I mean? I'm like, it was just a nightmare because they don't put the cast member out there when it extends to say, here's where it starts, you know, and kind of regulate it. But anyway, it took me 12 minutes and 26 seconds to ride it. The lines were long too. Like all the lines were outrageously long that night. So I rode Big Thunder Mountain, and let's see. Then from there, I used my extra fast pass that I didn't, or Lightning Lane or Genie Plus, whatever it is, that I didn't need to use on Haunted Mansion because there was no Hatbox Ghost. So I quick went on Pirates just because I enjoy Pirates. I can tell you, I made a discovery though with the iPhone 14 Pro. I know you don't have it, but a lot of people do. I always wondered why, like the low lighting, my iPhone 13 is better than my 14. Well, it turns out in 4K and 30 feet per second, it adds a lot of backlight.
You're muted there, John.
Oh, sorry, I keep coughing, and I'm trying not to cough into the mic. But I was going to say, I don't know why, but 4K, 30 feet per second, it looks like backlighting just pops right up. 24 is dark, 60 is dark, 30 bright. I don't know why, but I figured that out on the Haunted Mansion while I was stuck in the room with the footsteps. I was playing with the settings, seeing what's what. And you could see here some of my videos done at 4K 30. And I don't know if you can tell, but they just have a much more light to them.
Yeah, I can definitely tell. It's there's a lot of it's drawing in a lot more.
There's the guy with the cat. I mean,
Hmm.
it just has a whole new layer. It almost looks like someone shining a flashlight at it. And again, now I look and I'm like, every year or two, I figure out little things with my iPhone and this and that. And like, I didn't even know about HDR for like a couple of years. And I'm like, all that wasted footage, that. And so that now I'm like, everything I did in the dark up until last week is garbage. I really need to redo it all again. But here you can see too how clear the and so from here it was let's see, what time was it? 8:30, and the fireworks start at 9 o'clock. And I wanted to be on Main Street, but very far down on Main Street because I don't want to walk out shuffling my feet shoulder to shoulder. So I did need to get the fireworks though. So I walked all the way to the front of Main Street. I looked around the Emporium a little bit. Actually, I went in there and made some adjustments to my video and phone, deleted some things, whatever. But then I came back out and kind of got my spot. And as per normal, as time goes on, more and more people go in front of you. Eventually, there's always every time I get a guy with a bald spot that's tall that goes right in front of the camera. And I only mention that because you and I both have bald spots, so I'm not talking bad about anybody. But
Yep.
my wife went live one night for horror or for happily ever after or enchantment, and the video was great. And all she got in response was great. Taking video of some bald guy's head, like literally people get mad that a bald guy was in front of you, and it's like, oh. And now ever since then I noticed that, and I'm like, every time I'm trying to get good footage, there's some guy with a bald spot just going right at the camera. I'm like, oh, come on, don't do that. My followers hate bald guys apparently. But anyway, I got Happily Ever After, which is the first time that I've seen it since it came back, because I just don't go there that much. You can see Main Street, how lit up it is. Like it's the Main Street projections. That's the biggest difference, that they use them now and they didn't before. I've never been a huge Happily Ever After fan. I mean, I always liked it, but never cared about it. I liked Wishes better, but
Yeah, I
as
didn't
far as
cry when it went
Enchantment and
away.
Happily Ever After go, they're both nice. I don't have. Yeah, I didn't either. I was like, it was all right, but I do like though that you can see the effects are all mirrored on Main Street, like through projections. So that is pretty cool to see the whole Main Street and going along with the castle and everything. So it's a pretty cool. Yeah, there you can see it. It's a pretty
Yeah.
cool setup. Hopefully, I got enough footage, and I got it in 4K 30. That's my new favorite. So hopefully that will last me a long time. I can use it here and there. I couldn't use anything older because if I use something, people question me, when was that taken? So it's good to have the appearance that I'm in the parks a lot, even when I'm not there. I think a lot of people think I practically live there, and if you watch the show, I'm there a couple times a week. No, I don't live there though. So then from there, I was up front, so it was very easy to just walk out. And then, of course, I went to the walking path. Let's see if I think here I looked at all the people. Go there, you can see the crowds building up for the monorails and stuff. And then in contrast, there's nobody on the walking path. So I went this way where nobody is. And then I made the mistake though. I mean, it was getting late, and I really hate being out late. So the boat pulled up. But I should say it was loading. So I walked over because that'll take me right to the Polynesian, make my life easier. So I walked on it, and then I thought to myself, wait a minute, they're going to sit here. I've done this before. They're going to sit here and just wait till the whole boat is filled from all the crowds of people leaving because they're not just going to go. And I asked the captain that, and he said, well, I don't know, it depends. And I was like, yeah, I think I'll walk, you know. And that boat did not leave for a solid 10-15 minutes. And I'm like, I'm glad I left. It still would have been faster to do the boat, but I would have been on that boat in the super heat and humidity, sweat dripping, just sitting there with people all around pushed up against me as I'm just waiting for it to be over. Instead, I walked down a beautiful walking path by myself. I had a nice brisk walk and watched the monorails go by and listened to the frogs chirp. And I went by the Grand Floridian, and I thought, man, it's so hot out. I wish I could go in that pool. But then I ordered a meal that I haven't had in a long time from the Polynesian. I did a mobile order from Captain Cook's, and I got the pulled pork with what do you call it? Whatever else they put on there, but pulled pork and some vegetables and stuff. Very good though. I love that thing. Oh, it actually has slices of cucumber on it, which makes it very unique. You know, slices of cucumber, pulled pork, has a very unique taste. And this time, I even like the tomatoes. Normally, I hate tomatoes on sandwiches and stuff. I usually throw them away. This time, tasted great. So I sat by myself and ate it. So if you were at the Polynesian at almost 10 o'clock on Thursday the 10th, and you saw some homeless guy there eating his stuff by himself, that was me. I had my bag all sweaty and disheveled and by myself and eating French fries at the Polynesian.
So you looked like you belonged at the All-Star.
Yeah, that's my kind of place. So then I left, and again I walked back to the parking lot, which is fairly close, and that was it for Sunday. Yeah, you're gonna have to sing a song or something every time I call. So that was it for Sunday, and I did want to show you. I did do a comparison of Adam Leota. The bottom is the old one. See the old one here,
Yeah.
and that's the new one. So the old one looks more, it just looks like a face with a little bit of hair. The new one, the face looks like hair and smoke, and I think they're both fine, but there are some people who are very much don't want the Haunted Mansion changed, and they didn't seem too happy about it.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah, I'm good with it. For this is a little bit of Stranger Things / Horror Nights. My daughter got a new lounge fly, the Eddie, where he's playing Master of Puppets to kill all the things. Hellfire Club. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look cool.
People love Stranger Things and they love Eddie, so it's going to be a popular bag. All right, there's my pleasant dog. He's not getting any nicer. I keep waiting. So this is him when my daughter comes in the room. You can see him. See the smile? Yeah, he's much nicer than he used to be, believe it or not. All right, so
He's he was just giving you a good smile.
yeah, he definitely didn't just bite me a couple days before that. But all right, so that was my Magic Kingdom, and that went well, but it was I feel like I got ripped off a little bit because I didn't necessarily want to go. I would have rather have went with my wife sometime, went instead of going by myself. It's always easier to go with somebody else. But then on Monday, we actually got reservations for Epcot, and then I couldn't get the Guardians virtual queue, and I did it right at 7 o'clock, so that was odd. And by the time 4 o'clock came and we were going to go, my wife, my daughter, and myself decided to go to Animal Kingdom instead. And if you remember the last time we went to Animal Kingdom, it was Moonlight Magic, and we did not get the night we were expecting. So this time it worked out much better. We got there around 5 o'clock, and remember it closes at 7 p.m. So we only have 2 hours at Animal Kingdom. So we got there at 5. We made a right and went right to Dinosaur, which is my daughter's favorite ride. We got through that with very little wait. We basically walked right into the room, right into the pre-show. So that worked out well. Then we walked over to the Expedition Everest. And on Expedition Everest, we actually got the front row, and I did not ask for the front row, which, I was thinking I should ask for the front row, but, I've been just doing it randomly and seeing what happens. So in this case, and again, it was almost no wait at all for, one of the best coasters, in my opinion, at Disney World. So just amazing that no wait for that. So from there, we went to the Kilimanjaro Safari, which had a 5-minute wait, which that means basically no wait for that too. And we saw lots of baby zebras right next to the truck. We saw a lot of giraffes come right up next to the truck, which like the giraffes were really unusually pleasant. Like you can see one there going right by. The driver had to tell us, "Don't touch the giraffe," because you literally could have just reached out and pet it, which is very tempting, but I did not. So this was an unusually good safari with lots and lots of close-ups of animals, and I do have an entire live on my Instagram from this safari. Yep, and we even ended up seeing baby elephants, so baby zebras, baby elephants, giraffes close up, and Coley cattle right next to the truck. Like this safari was just unusually good. So yeah, I did not regret it. The last time I was on the safari, we stopped, and it was not a great experience. We ended up sitting and waiting for a broken down safari truck. But like I said, the amount of animals we saw was great. The driver actually loved his job too. Like he was quite happy about all this. So from there, we pre-ordered Satui Canteen, and it was absolutely fantastic. Like the chicken was just great. Like everything was unbelievable. And my wife doesn't really like that, so she got the wrapped hot dog and a couple oranges. So that was she said that she said it was good. But this is the best food in all of Walt Disney World as far as I'm concerned. Just unbelievably good. I could eat it every day. So then we decided to finish off the night. I think it said 50-minute wait for Flight of Passage. So we walked in because it was going to close in 10 minutes, the whole place. And this is after I wrote it. So I would say to get to the pre show was about 25 minutes. So around half. They doubled what it actually was. So we rode Flight of Passage. And this is kind of what I was talking about before, where I said Animal Kingdom, the last few hours of the day is fantastic. And the last time I had that proven wrong because of Moonlight Magic was worse than ever. Tonight I went on Dinosaur, Everest, the safari, had dinner at Satui Canteen, and then even rode Flight of Passage, all in my 5 o'clock to probably like 7:30 because we got in there last minute for the ride. And we even got to go through the gift shop on the way out and look at some of the Halloween merchandise and shirts and things like that. So that worked out well too. The things were not crowded at all. I was going to say the Hatbox Ghost has merchandise everywhere too. So he never made it, but he's got merch. I don't know.
But that's the Disneyland Haunted Mansion. It's the Disneyland Haunted Mansion on that shirt for whatever reason.
Well, I thought that was odd that they've got his merchandise all over the place, but he never made it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is it for Animal Kingdom. But I have to say, it was an absolutely fantastic Animal Kingdom trip. Like this is exactly what I talk about. I did 4 great attractions and a great meal, and I got there 2 hours before it closed when everybody else was leaving. So it was a perfect Animal Kingdom night. So probably haven't heard me say something like that in a while.
Yeah.
So that is it for my week at the parks.
All right, John. Well, how did your week in social media go?
Well, not too bad. I'm up to 139,000 followers on my Universal, 131,000 on my Disney, 131,000 on my TikTok. So my TikTok is now tied with my Disney account. So it's getting up there. I did have another million plus on my TikTok. The Splash Mountain went to 1.4 million, so that gave me a good little boost. And the rest have been fairly lower, but here's one that's 131,000. So it's been going well. I was gonna, I don't think I TikTok is still paying me bonuses, and like I said, everything's going fairly well, but TikTok is still surpassing the others and catching up. And today I was trying some what they call hooks, meaning you want to get people to watch your video. So I did top 3 Universal Orlando coasters. And the reason people do that kind of thing, I usually don't, but I just wanted to see how it play with my CapCut app. And what that's supposed to do is when you look at that, you think to yourself, I wonder what the 3 top ones are. And I wonder if I agree, so it makes people want to go in there and say, what is this? Like, what does he think? And is he wrong? It also brings up engagement because a lot of people will be like, "You're wrong. This should be here. It should be reversed, or you didn't mention this one." And the voiceover, the text to speech I used was British guy because it was the most fluid sounding. Plus, everyone thinks British people are smart, so this must be the correct list. If some British guy's saying it, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes in a couple days.
Yeah. But
that's about it. I know you need to pay, Mike, so we can.
Yeah. How? Where could they find you? Where could they find you online, John?
You can find me at SeeWDW on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, See.UO on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. And you can find me on all the socials at The Giant Rat, THEE Giant Rat. And that should do it for this one. We'll see you on the next one.